That's the $1 million question. And I'm gonna surprise you with something too,
Okay.
James.
All right.
A lot of folks don't know this about me, but I actually was gonna go in the United States Marine Corps.
Mm.
I was living in Beaufort or Paris Island, where the Marine Corps base was at when I joined, and and I was all in to join the Marines. I was mentally, I was physically ready to go. And remember when I told you that I had my ruptured appendix? The doctor only recommended me for two branches, and that was the Navy or the Air Force, because he said that the boot camp would be too strenuous for my stomach because I wanted to go in right away.
Okay.
And so I didn't really want to go in the Air Force because I didn't really know anybody in the Air Force. But I had two brother-in-laws that were in the Navy, and I remember growing up in Italy, a lot of the ships used to come in, the fleet used to come in and hit different ports, and I used to see all these sailors walking off the ship, and they would used to explain to me and tell me all the different countries that they visited, and I was like, man, that's exciting, you know? So all that stuff replayed back in my mind as I was making my decision to join the branch of service, and that was the Navy, and that was one of the main reasons why my brother-in-laws were definitely a very influential part in that,
Okay.
and just remembering all the good stuff that I seen from the sailors that were coming off the ships. Well, I have to be honest with you. I do love the Navy. I tell people this all the time, and I get excited every time I get an opportunity to speak about the Navy. But some of the difficult things that I had to encounter, honestly, was actually when I went on my first ship. Um, the opportunities of just getting underway and going from place to place and not seeing land for 50 days, 40
Mm-hmm.
days.
Mm.
You know, those were some of the things that actually builds character, believe it or not.
Yeah.
That prepared me for a lot of the stuff that I am encountering now, being out to sea. But after my first ship, and then I went on another ship, I kind of grew to love it. So it was difficult initially, you can think of as a young sailor, you know, having to go to different ports and having to be underway for a certain amount of time.
Right.
And so that was difficult initially. And then I say the biggest thing is when we are out to sea, missing your family and friends is probably one of the most difficult things.
Right.
Man, do you have time?
I think we do.
No, actually, one of the things I'm gonna go off a couple of them, but one of the first thing that I enjoyed, honestly, as I met my wife in the Navy,
Okay.
and she was a sailor as well, and so she definitely understood when it was time for me to go deploy. She understood that even after she got out, so I was definitely appreciative of her stepping in during those times that you mentioned before, those challenging times, and when you have your child there and she has to handle everything. Oh, and by the way, we got to move, so you got to handle all the moving stuff too. So she did a whole myriad and a facet of everything without me even being there. So I definitely appreciate her for that, and I thank her for that. So that was one thing. But just the people. I mean, I've met some amazing people, and some of those people that I met throughout my journey in the Navy actually contributed in helping me write my book that we're going to talk about. I know you said you wanted to talk about that, but I've been knowing some of these friends that now I don't even consider them friends. I consider them family. I've been knowing them for over 25, 24, 23 years, you know,
Right.
and we've remained in touch and we had that solid bond. And so the traveling, the going to different countries, understanding different cultures, meeting my wife and meeting my great friends and that I now consider family,
Right.
those were the best things in the Navy for
Wow.
me.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's actually a great question, and I was just mentioning this to a young man who asked me about the Navy because he was interested in joining. So I pretty much just gave him a rundown of the stuff that I wish I would have known while I joined. But so I told him, I said, "You're gonna be dangerous, man, if you listen to what I tell you,
Right.
and you know just do even half the stuff." But one of the things that I would tell um, anyone who's interested in joining the Navy is you have to understand that the Navy is a business, but also you have to be ready. You can't treat this like an ordinary job, a 9 to 5, because if you're thinking you're just going to get off and then don't have anything to do after you get off of work, then maybe the military, not even just the Navy, but the military may not be for you.
Right.
However, I would say that the joy that you get when you wear that uniform, And that's one of the things that I was very glad and gracious to do, is wear that uniform. But education is definitely key. But before you go in, make sure you pick a job that is actually going to benefit you, even if you only decide to do 4 years.
Right.
So I would tell people to do that, in particular, women or men, or young man or young woman. It doesn't matter. And education is definitely a key. Saving and investing is I've seen so many people get out the military and they had absolutely nothing to show for it. So I would definitely challenge, just like I used to do a lot of my sailors, and challenge them and say, hey, you're going to save. You're going to take some college classes. You're going to do some investments. And also, maybe even invest in a house. Yeah. I tell my daughter this all the time. She's 21 years old. I said, man, when I was your age, I didn't even think about buying a house. But if I was to buy a house at your age, that would have been perfect for me, you know? So these are some of the little tidbits and stuff that I would give a younger sailor if they was to ask me about it. And I'll tell them, hey, take your time, be patient. Not everything is going to happen overnight. Right. Because I see all too often a lot of these younger generation wants everything to happen right now. Right. Well, sometimes the wait is worth it. And so it takes time, and it takes some patience. So I would definitely recommend that.